You're inching up again, huh? Anyway, grim pictures from Iraq nearly every day, and American lives lives with the threat of terrorism every hour. So it might seem surprising that horror movies are still nearly surefire bets at the box office. Gory thrillers grossing more than $1 billion last year, making up over 20% of the total films released by major studios. Joining me now is Eli Roth. He is the director of the horror flick Hostel, which comes out on DVD Tuesday. It made nearly $70 million, get this, on a budget of $5 million. If this guy were a stock, you'd buy him. Eli, good to have you.
Great to be here, Neil.
What do you think's going on? You would think that in the environment we have, the fear of terror and everything else, the last thing we'd want to be in theaters is terrorized, yet we are.
Well, the truth of the matter is, in times of terror, people want to be terrified, but in a safe environment, because with all the things that are going on in the world, certainly with the war in Iraq and the horrible, horrible aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, where our government did nothing to help anybody, you want to scream. And there really is no place in society where you can go and just scream at the top of your lungs and get it out of your system. And horror movies really provide that safe environment to do that.
All right, but with some of the horror movies, though, is it just the fact that anything's changed, or the fact we've always liked horror movies? They've always done very well, right?
Yeah, horror movies, I mean, it goes in cycles. You know, in the 70s with Vietnam, all of a sudden you had movies like Last House on the Left and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Dawn of the Dead. And then if you noticed, you know, kind of in the Clinton administration when things were calm, there weren't that many horror movies. But now, you know, thanks to George Bush and Dick Cheney and Donald Rumsfeld, there's a whole new wave of horror movies that are back.
All right, so you're blaming them for the popularity of horror movies?
No, I'm just saying that because of what's going on in the war, and because of what's happening, people have a need to scream, and people are afraid, and they're thinking about this stuff, and somehow seeing it on screen and screaming about it really gets it out of your system. It helps you deal with the terror of the things that you can't control.
But you're making a bit of a leap, Eli, to associate with some political motives here, right?
Oh, no, there's no leap whatsoever. I mean, if you talk to all the horror directors of the 70s, they say that they were making films as a reaction to watching Vietnam on television. And I can tell you right now that, you know, Americans feel like their security is their army and their money. And we're in this war now, and you feel like it's never going to end, and the people we're fighting don't care about our money. They're going to cut your head off. Everybody's clicked on the internet and seen those videos of people being decapitated. And it's really terrifying. And our army, which used to be so strong and so powerful, you feel like it's really disorganized right now. It really feels like a bunch of scared kids that just want to go home. And you can see all these generals that are coming out now saying, get Rumsfeld the hell out of there. And I think that the horror movies that are being made are definitely a reaction to this fear.
You have a bias. You don't flip over this administration or the people leading the war. That's fair. But I don't remember, Eli, we went through 8 years of the Clinton administration without a single horror movie that was popular.
Well, I think that Scream came out, and that was a popular horror movie. But, you know, it all comes in waves and cycles. I think at the end of the 80s, you know, horror movies became a joke. It was all sequels, and you know, there was a real kind of backlash against movie violence.
So wait a minute,
but
when
now,
Psycho came out when John Kennedy was president, was that an indictment of John Kennedy, or was Psycho just a great flick?
No, Psycho was an indictment about Ed Gein. And suddenly, that mass murderer, nobody had ever seen anything like that. That here's this guy from small-town Wisconsin, and he's cutting people off, and he's cutting people's heads off, and he's wearing their skins.
But it had nothing to do with politics,
right? It was so shocking to the country that Psycho was
at
very much a response to that.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was that?
It had nothing to do with politics, right?
Well, no, I don't think Psycho did. I think that Psycho felt like you could be living next door to somebody who seems like a nice guy and is a mass murderer.
Okay.
And that's actually something that's pretty relevant today with someone like the BTK killer.
All right. Eli Roth, Hostel director, thank you very much.
Thank you, Neil Favuto. It's my pleasure to be here.
Same here.